Hi there, this is Kathy Crow, and I am here at the Crow Cottage. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Today, I've already gone for a bike ride. If you're wondering, is this the side? Yeah, that I jabbed my finger. I was trying to, in the, early morning hours when I was half asleep still, I had to sneeze, of course, and I was asleep partially, so I jammed my thumbnail pretty good on my cheek. It actually is healing up quite nicely. I'm sorry I'm such an infant, but anyhow, that's what that is all about. I'm fine. I am a little red because I went on a bike ride. It's pretty nice out today, actually. And it's been over 100 here, so that's really hot. And so I've been just, hi, Wendy. Thanks for joining me. So anyhow, today I am going to do a fish and a wish. This is going to be really fun. This stamp set really snuck up on me. It's the last one to do of all the new things that I ordered from the catalog because it was the one that least excited me. And I'm a believer and I was kind of actually, when I saw the Love Never Fails stamp, I was a little disappointed that there wasn't a Christian fish symbol in it, because that would have, I probably would have gotten to it earlier if they'd had that, but that's probably pretty common and they didn't want to add it on there. But you're going to really be surprised what you can do with this. If you've been on Pinterest, you've probably seen a lot of really cool examples because there's been a bunch. So I have quite a few things I want to do today. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to have to take just a minute here to get my computer online because I can't really see who's with me too much until I get that going and what's going on. And I forgot my jokes today. Dang. I'll have to get those going because actually it is something that's kind of entertaining for my grandkids when they watch these videos. I don't know that anyone else enjoys them as much as they do, but I kind of enjoy them, and kind of nice to have a little joke going here and there. Here's my host code. If you want to order from me, I really appreciate it. It does take time to write out those tutorials. I think I'm going to have to rethink writing out my tutorials on I've got them in my newsletter. I've got 4 at least. I usually do 4 every week. I think this week was a little short, but that was because that week was incredibly busy apparently. The catalog had just come out on that week that I did to today's tutorials that came out in the newsletter. But every Monday the newsletter comes out. I try to put 4 tutorials in there, and I am going to probably have to back that off and not do as many because it just has not been a profitable adventure. It takes literally hours to do a tutorial. You do have to plan it. You have to find all of the links. You have to photograph. And I don't even do all the photographing that other demonstrators do. I do not know how they have the time to do that. I've got this glass is very nice to sponge on, and we are going to do some sponging, but I'm putting this out because this white space does not it does not photograph well. So sometimes that glare is just way too much. So I'm going to put that out there, put this mat on here. I still see I'm a little bit crooked, but other than that, I think we are good. We're going to go ahead and get started, whether we're really good or not. My camera is just it's not cooperating for me. I'm not sure why. Okay, so there we go. You're still like super at an angle, I can see. I don't know how to solve that problem. Every time I think I'm solving it, I think I'm making it worse. So I think you are going to be like slanting downhill, and I don't know that I can do anything about that. All right, let's just stop messing with it and just let it be what it is. Okay, now that would actually help, I guess, if I did that. It's just my nature I like things to be just so, and this is just really driving. When I see it up there, it drives me crazy. Hey, Will, thank you. Will, it's nice to see you, and thank you. I'm glad you like the jokes. Hi, Trudy. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you guys share the video. You never know where it's going to get to, and I am in the process right now of looking for my jokes. I don't have a whole lot of jokes left. I'm going to have to go on the on the website that I got these from, which is dadsjokes.com, and find some more. But I think I do have enough to get us through the day today anyway. All right, today though, oh boy, here's one of the ones that I'm not going to have time to do, so I'm going to show it to you. We are going to do a background like this, but I use the Still Scenes globe from our, last year we had the zoo globe, and before then it was called Still Scenes, and that's when we were still selling these, what do you call them, water ball covers. And it actually works really perfect. The little bottles that they're doing for shakers are pretty small. I don't even think the small fish would really fit in those. I didn't buy any of those, so I can't even get a look to see if they would, but this turned out really cute. So I'm just showing it to you because we are not doing it because these are not available in Stampin' Up! World right now. But we are going to do some other things, okay? So I just wanted to show it to you. The first thing I want to do is, this is a little, very cute little easel card. Okay, you just get it, and when you get it in the mail, you just stick it up there, and it stands up quite nicely. And this is a very easy style to do. It fits in an envelope really well. And I wanted to show you that I thought we didn't have a fish net. This is actually, I got out one from our Sea of Textiles. I don't know or textures. We had a nice fishing net in the Sea of Textures set a couple of years ago. But I didn't know we had one then. I remembered there were some shells in here, so I wanted to see what we had in this season of chic, and voila, we actually do have, and that's what this is. This, a graphic, basically. It does not have to be a fishing net, but it acts like one if you want it. So today it is going to be a fishing net. So that's what we're going to do, and I think you're going to really like this set too when you see what we can do with it, just because it actually offers what what I think most stampers really like, which is just stamp, stamp, stamp like crazy and not having to do a lot of extra work. So what you do for this easel card is, first of all, you just take your 8.5 by 11 paper and cut it in half lengthwise. So we end up with 4 1/4 at the top and 11 inches down the side. And then we are gonna just score that at 5 1/2. First of all, now I'm gonna get out my arm, or my cutting board's arm, because we are going to do a couple more scores besides just that. And we're going to start though at 5 1/2. So I've got my score tool on the side there. And let me look at my instructions here to see. I think it's 6 3/4 is the next one. So 6 3/4. And then the last one is 8 7/8, almost up there to the 9. Okay, so that's all you do. This is called a bookbinding top, okay? Because we're gonna actually glue this right down. So let's just do it right now. We're gonna just glue this top right down, and then we're gonna fasten it down with a nice little ribbon. Okay, so there it is, all glued. This, of course, is going to go back like this. This part is going to go like this. All right, now I am going to need a little piece of this DSP. This is from the Chic DSP that goes with this Season of Chic set. You can get a suite where you get the dies and the stamps, and this paper is really pretty. There's a whole bunch of sheets. I ordered extra of it because after I'd gotten my initial packet and started getting through it pretty quickly because I've been using it a lot. It's called, no, that's Boughs of Holly. I've got my Christmas stuff out because I've been working with Christmas stuff all over the place. Where is the season of chic. I have it pretty handy. It's kind of getting ragtag because I've shoved in a couple of packets. So it's Texture of Chic DSP. And so Trudy, what's it like in the Tri-Cities? Is it hot down there? Because today is the first day of real relief we've gotten here. It's been so hot. I've been stamping a lot, just staying inside. But isn't this beautiful? All this gold inlay is really pretty. Sometimes the gold highlighting on the paper is like, this one is very, very nice because it's called textured, and it is. It looks vintagey, you know, it's kind of nice. Sometimes it's either too strong or it's not enough, and this is just like perfect. So this is 2 packs kind of shoved together because, like I said, I went ahead and ordered an extra pack. But I only need this tiny, tiny piece. And we are going to do a piece up here at the top. Let me measure it. I probably have the measurement written down. Now, I know this is 4 1/4, so we're going to go 4 1/8 across that way. But this way, let's do 1 1/8. Okay, so let me see what I've got here. We've got 4. This is about 4 1/8. It's a little bigger, actually. That's pretty close. So we're going to go ahead with it. And 1 1/8. Let's see how that looks. Aha, very good. Perfect. So we're going to glue that on the top. Now, oh, okay, Prudy, that's not bad. 91 sounds pretty good because, you know, like everybody here likes to say, yeah, but it's nice and dry. And it's like, well, yeah, but when it's 100, and even dry is not so. So apparently we brought unprecedented heat to Missouri with us because I think they said it hasn't been this hot ever here for this long. But today it's actually much nicer. It's supposed to be really hot the rest of this week. So if today is an indication that it's subsided, that's sweet. Because I went out on a bike ride. It was really comfortable, really nice. And that still looks crooked to me. I must have done my score lines crooked just a tad. Okay, so for this one, let's use this and see what I want. This one, I am going to want 1 7/8. That doesn't sound right. Let me look at it again. We are expecting some thunderstorms too, and that's not necessarily a great thing because thunderstorms here might mean that it's going to be very humid, so we'll just see. If it gets humid, I'm going to be inside a lot, which just gives me more time to work because we are going to come and see our kids in Idaho next week. It's going to be really exciting for us, and I'm hoping that we have really good weather all the way. That would be really nice. Okay, so you're just doing these little strips right here. Now, for this piece, I am going to cut out from our Stylish Dies a little bit of gold cardstock. So we have gold. That was my scoring tool falling out. That's what it does every time. It falls out. That's why I always have it kind of on the side and don't really keep it in the trap because it always is falling out. Okay, so here is that. Let me grab my gold cardstock. I'm going to just take a little piece of it. I don't really need the whole sheet, so I'm going to just cut off this little edge. And then in our Stylish Shapes, this is the one I've been using the most. It has circles, it has little flags, it has squares. I still use my stitched rectangles a lot too, but I think this square is actually the largest one is the one I use. Let me check though, because, yep, that was it. I'm going to just cut as much as I need. I don't want to cut a lot extra. What happens once you put your foil through your embossing plates, because your plates are, you know, marked like this, it messes up your foil. I saw a demonstrator, what she did is she took a piece of, she suggested that you take a piece of I think it was transparent, like tracing paper, and put on, you know, put under this plate, and then that would help. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to use those extra scraps anyway. We're just going to cut that out. So we have this. But as you can see, it does mar it a little bit. See those little lines? And so if that bugs you and you don't want that, then you can put your tracing paper on top, and that is supposed to help. You don't get, well, we aren't getting enough thunderstorms either. Now, wouldn't it be funny if while we're there, there's all of a sudden a whole bunch? That wouldn't necessarily be great, but we'd manage anyway. So, but better to happen probably now than later. Actually, I've got a piece in here now. So this is crumb cake. I've saved some of my extra bits, so I'm gonna just pull this out. But letting you remember that is actually from the Sea of Texture stamp set. And I have my little fishies in there too. This, I don't know if this pretty peacock ribbon is still available. Actually was available for a long time, because pretty peacock is a color we didn't sell. You know, we haven't sold it for like a super long time, so I was surprised to see that it was available for as long. And this, it's linen with this little crocheted edge, and it's really pretty. I love it. I was sorry to see every ribbon we ever get, I always know it's going to go away, so I try not to get attached to it. But this one, these linen ones I kind of did. I don't use them much anymore, but it's hard not to because they're the ones I really like. I'm twisting this up kind of oddly just to try to keep the colored, you know, edge facing forward. So I'm sort of having to twist everything. So you're going to see what I'm doing is I'm giving everything kind of like a weird little twist to it. There we go. All right, so there's that little ribbon. Oops, I didn't get my edge angled very well there, but that's good. All right, and then this is just going to go right on top. Oh, I forgot to angle my edge. I need to angle that edge. Let me show you how to do that. So we're going to take the bottom of this card. So we want a nice little point on it. And we're going to, I've got it all fastened, so it's a little hard. But I want to go to 2 1/8 is the measurement I'm going to go to here. 2 1/8. I don't really want to cut it. I'm just making a little mark there. And I really can't because my ribbon's keeping the cutting blade up too high. So I'm going to take a little pencil. I just want a tiny, tiny, tiny little mark just to show myself where that is. That's the center. And then what you're going to do, normally you would have done this before you did, you know, I should have done this before I did all that other stuff. But you're just going to put this in the track where it's cutting to where this score line is that you've already scored. Okay, and then you can just cut. Now I do see that mark, so I didn't get it quite close enough, but I'm gonna fix that on this side. It won't be exactly perfect, but it's gonna look fine. Ooh, I can still see it just a tiny bit, but that's okay. If that is bugging you, you can always fix it. It's not a problem, but I'm gonna actually be putting this on here anyway. All right, so we're gonna leave a little bit of an edge, you know, border right there. That is bugging me, so let's get rid of that little mark. And oops. And now I can glue that on. I'm just going to glue it on. You could put dimensionals under there. Maybe I want to do dimensionals. I kind of forget if I do or not. Yeah, we have really good thunderstorms here, that's for sure. There, you know, we haven't had a really good one in a long time. We are experiencing a very major drought, and our little creek down there is pretty well dried up until you get to the school, and then it's fine, but it's down really low. I don't know how it affects people with agriculture here. I'm not really sure. I would assume that it is. They're having to actually water the park. There are places they don't, I mean, nobody waters their lawn here because you just don't have to. And they're looking pretty brown. Okay, I'm going to do this so I can see exactly where that border is. I want this to be like right in that right where that center is. Okay, that's a little off there, but that's okay. This is going to be coming in here anyway. And I think what I'm going to do is just use some glue dots to stick that down. I don't want it to be stuck down too much because I want to stick a fish under there. So let's find some of the chunkier bits of cardstock that I can apply this little glue dot to. I rolled it up. These are not as small as they come. They actually come smaller, and these are a little bit fatter. So I'm rolling them up to, I just want them in the center. I don't want them to, because it's going to be hanging off, so I don't want it to be sticking to things that it shouldn't be. And one thing about glue dots is when you stretch, if you've got like really little areas like this, you can kind of pull them and stick, and they stretch out kind of like a rubber band and get thinner. Okay, so we'll stick that like right there. You just don't want it to stick too far out over. And then I've already stamped some of these fish, so I'm gonna stamp. It's not like you're not gonna see it, but I'm gonna just use some of the ones that I've got here already. This was probably pumpkin pie, I betcha. Just to get this one out of the way, and then we're gonna, I wanna see his little eye. I wanna get that little eye in one of the holes of the net so I can see him. And then this, one of these is, I did these with mint macaron, and my olive wasn't stamping all that well because I had just re-inked it. Because some of them, the ones before I re-inked, were looking a little pale. So then I re-inked it, and then it was too strong. So they can go either direction, up or down. I'll go like that. And then we'll just stamp the sentiment, and then this one is done. Except for I do need to do the little, I guess I better do 2 stamps so that I can get those both done. We'll do one with white. Here's a little white scrap. So we'll do our little Love Never Fails. This is one that I've used a ton. I'm going to use our Pretty Peacock. If you have Tranquil Tide, that one's really close to it too. The colors actually are Pool Party here, but let's do you over here. And then I want the Sea of Thanks one. We're going to do that one on Pool Party. Just to make sure everything's matching. Then I will find my jokes and we'll get going to something else. Okay, Pool Party. here's a little scrap. A sea of thanks. This is very cute. I'm really liking this one. Okay, so now I'm just going to get out my my stylish shaped dies again. We'll cut those out, and then that one will be done. And we will go on to some real stamping, so you can see how these fish stand out, because you're going to really enjoy seeing the background come together as quickly as it does, and all of that stuff. Move these things out of the way. Clean up my mess. What did I do with the other cinnamon? There it is. All right. I keep putting things away and then just having to get them back out again. All right, so this one has like 4 different sizes of these flags, which is really nice. So the reason I'm using them a lot. See, this one's pretty long. There is a shorter one, but I don't know that it's quite as wide as I need it to be. So you can see my die's a little torqued. Let me bend it down so it grabs on better. This is a magnet backing, and so that hangs on to it really well. Got celebration still going on, you guys, so you want to make sure you're getting in there and getting all of your paper. There's some really good paper. And then the little hippos dies are so cute. That one. Do we want a little one? I don't know. I think I might want a bigger tag on the inside. This one's going to go on the inside. And I think... Let me see what I did here. I need to see, because a little one might work. Yeah, a little one works. I actually did a little one so I had plenty of room to write down there underneath. So we'll just use the little one. See how it torqued again? It's just thin metal, so you can just bend it the way you want it. That's fine, fine, fine. Except it sometimes shifts when you lay your plate on it, and sometimes it shifts. So I'm going to move my paper to a spot where it's less likely to do that. My boards are getting a little concave-ish, and that's kind of messing with it. Going to get any rain. It's overcast, and I think that might be the only reason that it's cooler today here. I think it might have been going to get super hot if it wasn't so nicely overcast. But I had a really nice bike ride. Not a lot of people were out there because I think they thought it was going to be super hot again today, because that was the prediction, and the cloud cover's been keeping it really nice. So I had the park in the path, not to myself, but pretty much to myself. It was really nice. Okay, that is going to go on the inside. Where did the one go? There it is. This one I'm going to just stick on a couple of mini dimensionals. I don't want to get too many on here because I'm not exactly sure of my placement. We'll just put 3 in the middle here. Okay, right. It's kind of got to go on top. I'd like it to go under, and you could do it, but I want, I want it on the, we'll stick it like this. Kind of wanted it in the center. Now you want to make sure it's going to be where it's going to hold this point up. If you get it this far down, that's fine, but it's going to show on either side. So I'm pushing this way up as far as I can get it, and have it stand up nicely. And by doing that, it takes it down low enough that this tag's not going to be seen. So now I know that's where I want it. That one, you want to make sure that's high enough. So if I'm concerned about it not being high enough, I would add a double layer of dimensionals, but one will do it. It won't be super high, but it'll be high enough. Okay, so I want right up there. Is that too far out? No, I think that's fine. And then it's going to give me plenty of room to write, and you can't see it. Isn't that cute? I really like that. Now that one's done. We're going to go on to another one. Let me clean up my mess a little bit. Okay, you might want to see how I did the Z-fold card. Mostly you are going to want to be curious about how I did this and this. So let me find what I'm doing here. That one's something else. Let me put that one away. That's a different one. I've been playing with a whole bunch. Oh, here they are, over here on the side. So what I've done is I took this paper. You're going to recognize that as our Rings of Love paper. That's one of our free paper offers in the Celebration brochure. All of this paper is really pretty. Okay, so it's Rings of Love because of the wood rings. It coordinates really nicely with the tree ring stamp set. And the paper I am using, I bet I've used all of it. I have another pack that I just ordered, thankfully, because I do not, this is all I have left of it. I have used this one because it has those cute little birds. So I have used all of it except for these two pieces, and I'm using the back side. And now you can see why. It looks almost watery. It's perfect. Okay, so I only have enough to show you this what I did one time. This is how it's going to look. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. It doesn't matter what, direction you use it. Let's cut it. Let's see what we've got right now. We've got, ultimately it's going to be 4 inches across, but we're going to go at 4 1/4 for starters. Just make sure, because I can cut off, but it can't add. And then we're going to go at 5 1/2, although that's going to get cut down too, because I'll want an edge around it. All right, and then we will stamp this background, and you're going to just be shocked at how much fun it is. Would you rather have a hard time doing all of this, or would you rather have fun doing it? I think everybody would rather have it. Okay, here is a joke. I found one. No, we did that last week. I remember we did that one. What do you call the horse that lives next door? Did we do that one too? It sounds a little familiar. What do you call the horse that lives next door? Now, last week, people actually responded to my, and Facebook isn't giving me the option. It won't scroll anything down. So it's like, well, I see there after the fact, I saw there was like tons of comments that I missed them all because my computer wasn't scrolling along automatically. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take this stamp, and we're going to do it with a few different colors. The colors in this are Night of Navy. That looks like Misty Moonlight, which isn't even a color we have right now. Maybe Balmy Blue. I don't know. It actually is going to say on the back of your card pack, anytime you get paper, it actually tells you the colors that are in it. So that's Night of Navy. Supposedly only, which you can tell It's not. Okay, so it's mint macaron and Knight of Navy and so on and so forth. But the thing about Stampin' Up, which is one reason that, oh, okay, well, good, Eliza. That is a very good guess. Very good guess. Because you would say stinky. Very good. I'm glad I could see that comment. I'm so glad I could see it. No, that's a good guess, but that isn't it. What do you call the horse that lives next door? Now, maybe your horse is called Stinky next door. He might be, but this is not having to do with his actual name. But that's probably a better joke answer than the one that I'm going to give you in a minute. So I am going to use actually I'm going to use Knight of Navy. Let's do that. We're going to start with some Knight of Navy. I'm going to do this one really easy, not do a lot. And the water is sort of looking like this. I'm going to put dark water at the bottom, lighter at the top, like if you were swimming. That's kind of the way it looks. You're just going to stamp all over here. I'm kind of doing some darker down here on the bottom. And lighter on the top. Okay, as you can see, fun, fun, fun. Just random. No order. It looks great. Okay, so I'm going to give you the answer if you don't have another one. You call the horse your neighbor. Your neighbor. Ha. That's a good one. Oh, we're not done. Don't take that off. We're going to do some two other colors. Okay, so we've got Knight of Navy in there. I'm going to put in some Coastal Cabana. Not Copacabana, but Coastal Cabana. Instead of our mint macaron. Mint macaron's already in it. So we're going to add, this one I'm just stamping right on because here's how my pad's getting just a little on the weak side. If it was freshly inked, I might have to be stamping off some, but okay, so there we go. Now we've got some nice green. You see how that blended it all in really nicely? What did the big flower say to the little flower? What did the big flower say to the little flower? This is when you might be able to guess. I think, I don't know that I need any other color in there. If I was going to be doing my pretty peacock, I would probably add some of that in there, but I don't know that I really need to. That's actually looking pretty good. So if I was going to add anything, I might add some Starry Sky, but this one's really strong. And so I would stamp off on that one. See how that one's going to just really stand out. So I don't really need much of that. Okay, there we go. You don't want to add any more, or it's going to all look Knight of Navy. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. I thought that was a pretty good one myself. Some of these are better than others. That one's actually kind of a funny one. This one's not bad. You can get it. What did the big flower say to the little flower? You can get this one maybe, although your vocabulary is going to have to include flower parts. That's a big hint. Flower parts to get the answer on this one. Okay, so now, how did I get that little wavy effect? Well, we have that ruffled embossing folder somewhere here. If I can find it. Did I set it out? No, there it is. Okay, it's called cascading ruffles. So cascading has kind of a word that makes me think of water, but I actually would not have thought of water at all. I'm sure I saw somebody else using this and it looked like water to me. So, all right, so we're going to emboss that. Let me bring that over so we can do it. I'm going to have to change out my plates because this is a 3D embossing folder, so you need a different plate that's not quite as thick, and the stuff's getting in the way. So no cutting plate underneath, because this is a thick one. If it was thin, I could maybe do that, but generally I just use my other plate. Okay, so the big flower said to the little flower, so I'm giving it to you, since I'm not, did you say? Maybe you answered and my computer's not scrolling down again. Okay, I see you did not answer, so I am going to give you the answer. Look at that, isn't that great? So it kind of gives you the effect of waves in it. Okay, so that's how we're doing this background. And you can do these little, in fact, let's do this while I've got it here. On this one is just, very vanilla, and then I sponged Starry Sky and stamped. And then I stamped our Starry Sky down a little stronger here, and then I stamped the little seaweed that comes with this set right on there. We'll go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just emboss this while I got it right here. Okay, so I'm going to tell you then. So the big flower said to the little flower, "Hey, bud." That one's just okay. People don't really call people bud all that much anymore. When I did the ruffles, it really made this look lighter, didn't it? Isn't that interesting? Because it didn't look quite so much so until I embossed it. Alright, so now what we are going to do is we are with this one. Let me show you. I have some green embossing powder, sparkly green, and I used this stamp and used Versamark. Could you like that one, Will? Thank you for showing me that you liked it. I wouldn't know otherwise. I stamped this with Old Olive. With Versamark. Now here I just stamped it with Old Olive, but here I stamped it with Versamark. I sprinkled on that powder and embossed. It's not Stampin' Up! Powder, so I am not going to show that to you. I just wanted you to see that that's kind of cool. And then I took this, from this set that we had last year, there's this little coral die, and I cut that out and stuck it on there. And this is just on Misty Moonlight. And this technique is the same background. I just used different colors. I used less of the Coastal Cabana and more of Tahitian Tide and Night of Navy. So anyhow, just all the different things that you can do. Now I'm going to hang on to these because I am going to use all of these for this Z-fold. All right, so let's move on to the Z-fold. So I am going to use, you call people bud? I guess you do, Will, because we kind of do. I don't know that Dad does so much. It was something that my dad, his family, actually, the nickname of one of his brothers was Bud. And so my dad used that term. I don't think my mom ever did, and I've never really heard Dad use it too much, although maybe he does. It's kind of an endearment. At least that's the intention. I don't know if people hear it that way, but that's the intention. All right, so for our Z-fold, we are going to cut this 8.5 by 5 3/4. I'm making a bigger one. Instead of 5.5, we're going 5 3/4 because a Z-fold for me is special enough of a card that I want it to be in a big envelope. After you've decorated it, it's like there's hardly any room to write. So I always need some room to write in it. And you can write on the back where my sticky note is, but, you know, it doesn't look as good. So, oh yeah, the old Andy Griffith shows. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if it's more of a Southern thing or not. I don't know. All right, so here we go. 8.5 is already at the top, so I don't have to worry about that. We're gonna go 5 3/4 over and cut that off and put that at the side. I'm gonna use that piece. Now I'm gonna turn it and we're gonna score this at 2 1/8. Let me get my little score tool and check my measurement again. 2 1/8, and then 4.5. Okay, and I'm going to set that aside and bring this back out. And for this one, I want it to be 8 1/4, not the half. So we're going to take off. It's at 8.5 right now, so I'm just going to take off a 1/4 inch bit of it, and now it should be at 8 1/4, and I want it to be 3 inches wide. Okay, now we're going to score this at 2 inches. Okay, so I just turned it and I'm scoring it at 2 inches and 4 1/8. And that is going to be my little Z fold. Let's fold that there, fold that there, and like this. And this is going to go like this. Okay? Now, I see my cutting blades getting a little dull. It's starting to fuzz a little bit. I'm gonna have to get a new blade in. I do have a new blade. I just always wait till the last minute to actually do it. Now for this part, I need an old embossing folder. This one is not available. You can always buy old stuff online though. In fact, we have a really nice antique store that has a whole bunch of stuff that lady sells. She must be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and sells her old stuff there. And she does not have this folder, but she has a ton in there, and so I bet she could even get it if you wanted it. But you can go online and you can always find these pretty cheap. This is Seaside, and it was from a few years ago, and it's one of my favorite sea ones. And I'm going to use a piece of Very Vanilla, and I'm going to just emboss. I need to do a little stamping on it first. What I did is I didn't sponge it at all. I just stamped it with that stamp with all the colors we were just using. So let's do it. Okay. Okay, here's the next joke. How do you get a squirrel to like you? How do you get a squirrel to like you? I'm going to start with Night of Navy. I'm not going to get too carried away with it, though. Okay, so fun. You just stamp all over the place. You know, just go crazy. But leave some white, because we're not done. We're going to do a whole bunch of colors on here. So if you get too carried away, you won't leave yourself any space. So because of that, I'm going to use my Starry Sky. That one's really dark also, and I want to make sure I don't use too much of it. Okay, there we go. And see, you can just do a lot even without re-inking. You can get a lot of color on that piece. See what I mean? It's very satisfying. You just stamp like crazy. It's very fun. And we haven't even done the fish yet. I'm still just playing with the water. All right, then I need to get a little bit of other color in. Oh, that was a big accident. Let me get that. That was my white ink pad. I don't want that. We'll get our Coastal Cabana out again. Oh, a Coastal Cabana, you're kind of, yeah, I guess this is the one I want. Okay, this one though, I need it to be darker, so we're gonna have to pull that ink in every time for this one. I can't just go stamp, stamp, stamp so much. This, you know, you could, in fact, this is why I started with that other paper. You could sponge and get a bunch of color in there first and then do all of this. That's pretty quick, but, you know, this actually is very, very fun. And then you can also just see where there's little gaps. You can just fill in with this lighter color. And it really does give you a nice wave effect. All right, so how do you get a squirrel to like you? And in our yard, you just put out a lot of sunflower seeds and they suddenly love you. I don't know that I need any more color on that. I don't want it to get too dark. I think I added some Misty Moonlight on this one, but I don't think I want to. I don't think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna slide this in here, making sure your waves are going in the right direction. And we will emboss it. I wonder when we're on vacation if the squirrels and the birds are going to miss us. Dad told me make sure you fill up those feeders before we leave. It's like, yes, I do know that. I am going to. I was already planning to do that. Although I'll probably forget. I am planning to do it, but that doesn't mean that I'll actually follow through and remember to do it. I am going to try to. Okay, now I'm not sure if that's a thin folder. That's not our, yeah, that one's too thin. With these, this is a very thin one. This is not a 3D folder. So for this one, I need to use my other regular template. And then that will work quite well. I think, yes. Now it's kind of firm, and that is not necessarily good. I don't think I want my blue plate on that. That's coming, if it's going through that hard, what it'll do is it'll just cut right through your cardstock sometimes. So I'm putting a clear one on that's thinner. See, that's not thick enough though. So I'm going to flip it over because I want to make sure it's embossed all the way. And I'm going to use the blue one, but I'm just kind of using it a little more gingerly and not forcing it through. Because that, when it's going through too hard and you're forcing it, you're just, with that one, sometimes it'll cut. See, like right there, it's cutting right through. So you have to be careful not to do that. That is particularly problematic of this C side one. I don't know that our other ones do it so much, and it might be one reason they retired it pretty early. They didn't keep that one around very long, and I was kind of surprised because it's such a nice one, but that might be wise. People were having a hard time with it cutting right through their cardstock. All right, now that it's done like that, I'm going to take my Pretty Peacock and I'm going to just press it right on there. Kind of stamp right on top. And then it's going to fill in those lines a little bit so that I can see them. Now, if I push too hard, you get a line that way, so you don't want to do that. Just gingerly. And then I can see all of my little seaside lines really well. And that's my other color. Okay, so how do you get a squirrel to like you? Act like a nut, of course. Act like a nut. Pretty good. Pretty funny. All right, so now I'm going to take my cardstock that we used already. I'm going to use this one because it's kind of done already. Oh, it's too short. Where are the ones that I just did? Not that one. Got pieces all over the place here. All right, this one. Yeah, that one will work. It's a little on the short side. I should have probably not cut them. How about this one? But those other ones are going to be needing to go too. Okay, for right now, my waves will be going the wrong way. I didn't even think about that. Might have to rethink my plan here. Well, since I am going to have my Z-fold on there, I can actually just double these up. I didn't really want to go like this, but I can. Actually, doesn't look too bad. Very curious. I am going to have a lot of extra of this, so maybe I'll just use this. If I am going to do that, I am going to want to add some color to this. It's not, this side isn't quite what I want. So let's add a little bit of color to it. I'm going to get out some Misty Moonlight. It's a little bit lighter version of our Night of Navy, and I think I can blend it in there pretty well. You can kind of see a line where my embossing is. All right, here's another one. What button is impossible to unbutton? What button is impossible to unbutton? This is a cute one. I like this joke. This is a really good one. You're gonna like it. What button is impossible to unbutton? Now remember, up until the end of August, there are those in the trees, the tree dye thing. You know, we've got the trees for sale stamps, and you can get the dyes that match that for free if you have enough in sales to get it free. You have to spend or get other people to spend with you up to $100. And then you can get that for free, and you definitely want to because it's super cute. All right. I think I'm going to do it like that. So let's see what the measurement is here. I'm not exactly sure. I've kind of forgotten. It is 4 1/8. So we want this to be 4 inches across. And these ridges, I have to be really careful cutting because if I just go rip, it'll rip that paper because, like I said, it's pretty much abraded and ready to fall apart. And there is that ridge, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to be underneath to a great degree, everything. Let's trim off a little bit more. So I have a border, and then this edge is 5 3/4, so we actually want it to be about 5 5/8. Very good. That's perfect. Now I'm going to put the ridge part on the inside. Just because that's going to be hard for my Z-fold to grab onto if I don't. Now again, on my background, I was planning to do this on the background here, but I got my waves going in the wrong direction for that. So that's why I'm using this one. It's going to look a little different. This embossing folder makes it ruffle a little more too, so you really have to push it down. So I'm going to get a lot of ink. I'm going to have to wipe that off. I'm going to get a lot of ink on my hands doing this. And obviously, if I cared about it, you know, going onto the white and messing it up, I wouldn't be rubbing like this because it'd be smearing it all over. But in this case, that's a good thing. Cute. All right, and then we want, oh boy, I don't have any of them that are exactly the right. I'm gonna have to use all of these this way, and then I will use these on the other pieces that I expected to use. I'm actually doing it the reverse. So I expected to use my background pieces here because they're flat and they're not embossed and they lay down really nice all the way underneath. But because I got my waves going this way instead of this way on all of my cut paper, I am going to have to reverse it. So instead of these nice little wavy seaside embossing folder things that I had a plan to be here, and partly that's because of the ridges is nice. Because I didn't do it right, I am going to have to put these pieces on the background, and then we are going to put these on the front pieces. So, you know, it's not a disaster. It's just not exactly what I'd planned. Oh, well. Okay, so 2, and this ended up being approximately 2 3/8. So I think we're going to cut this at 2 1/8. Let's see if that's going to leave us with a big enough piece. I better measure and see. 2. If I get 2 1/8 there, that is going to leave us with plenty. Okay, so 2 1/8. Okay, what button is impossible to unbutton? Oh, with this one we needed to, I forgot, I need to trim it this way too. So instead of 5 3/4, I want it to be, let me turn this upside down. Or actually it is upside down. I guess right side up would be the correct description. 5 5/8. This is 5 5/8, so it should be pretty accurate. Why is it not? It's looking long. I need to get off just a little bit. It's your belly button. Of course. Your belly button. I think kids would like that one. That's a good joke. Now this is starting to tear, so I'm going to have to be super careful here. I just need a tiny, tiny bit off. Tiny, tiny bit. I'm going to have to piece that on. It's just falling right off. Wow. No, see, this is because I put it through and it was going too hard and I kind of knew it and I did it anyway when I was embossing it. All right. Fortunately, it doesn't really matter because it's going to be underneath. And even if it was on my flaps, it was doing this on my flaps too, and it didn't matter just because of the kind of paper it is. All right, so now this piece is going to go here. And let's trim the bottom first, or the top first. Pretty good. And this one, we need it to be about 1 7/8. 1 7/8. The paper's wavy. So it's kind of hard to get a good measurement here because of that. 2 7/8. All right. It's like trying to do a plumb line on a wall that's old, very old house and very, very crooked. Have you ever tried to paint stencils on a wall that's a very, very old wall, and you snap your plumb line and you go, and then you look at it at the end and think it still doesn't look straight. Well, old walls, a lot of times they're not. And the ocean, it's not always going to be all that straight either. But anyway, we are gold here. This is good. All right, so that part is done. Now I want this to be inside here. Like this. My score line's not exactly right. So I'm going to need to trim this down just a little bit. Both ends. So I am going to take about a 1/4 inch off this side, and then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to take another 1/4 inch off this side, because apparently when I scored, I did not exactly follow my instructions, because that was looking too big. So now it's better. So you just take some glue, glue it good, just here and here. Okay, but you do want those to glue on really well. All right, not quite in the middle, but almost in the middle. Close your card so you can get it shut the way it's going to be shut in your envelope. And then press, press, press. Now, I am going to use a couple of clothespins to get that to stay down nicely while I look at the pieces that are going to go on top of that. I want that to glue down really well while we're waiting. All right. Ooh, that was loud. Let me get rid of some of my pieces of paper that are all over the place so I can see what I'm doing. All right, now this is going to go on that Z fold, and now that I don't have my waves to do it, it's going to be a little trickier. I'll actually have to use my scissors. We do have a die called Quite Curvy, and in a lot of the other one sets too, there's a Kirby die you could probably use, but I am not going to mess with that. I'm just going to go ahead and try to do scissors. We want a piece here, we're going to want it on that other piece, you know, the shorter piece too. So I'm going to just use my sample to measure, because I don't want to mess with my piece that's gluing. So let's see. Well, actually I do need to use, because I altered it. So let's see. This is now at 3 3/4. So we're going to want it to be at 3 1/2, about, maybe a little bit more than 3 1/2. And it was 3 inches wide, so 2 and a little more than 2. We're going to cut it, so we don't want to short ourselves. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go 2 7/8. I'm going to use the lighter side. So 2 7/8. And what did I say it was? I've already forgotten. Oops, that's centimeters. Let's see. We want it to be about 3 5/8. 3 5/8. Ooh, that seems awfully small. I'm kind of going to eyeball it here to make sure. Okay, 3 5/8. I'm going to do a tad bigger. And let's take those off. Very good. And then that's going to go right on there. It looks shorter than my other card. Huh. I think it's just because it's closed. So take your scissors if you've done what I've done. And you've got your lines that you can follow where your stamp is. You just don't want to cut down too far. So you can just follow your lines if you want to. Okay, and then you've got a nice little wavy effect. It looks pretty good. You can see this is that bird. I love this bird side. That was really fun. I used most of the paper on this. In fact, I was you know, glad to get some more of that paper because I'm not done with those birds. They're pretty cute. But I like this side too for all these little waves. They are nice. Okay, then we need this little tiny piece inside. So anytime you're doing you're doing our tutorials, mine or anybody else's, just be aware that a lot of times because of where you scored your line, it can be slightly different than what their measurement is as far as the, you know, what your mat, you might want it to be slightly bigger, smaller. It never hurts to just kind of check the measurements. So let's see here. That is 2 inches. So if we go, oops, like normally you would do 1 3/4. So I'm going to just do it a little bit bigger than that. Where's the piece that I had? Oh, here it is right here. Let's check it out. Pretty good. Let's check it here. Too small. We're going to use this one. Already cut for us. It's kind of nice to have your wave match up. So let's make it match. Maybe my other side will match better. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. It's not matching up as well. That's pretty good. I think I'm not going to get it any more matched than that. Did you ever do those as a kid, puzzles where you color in the different squares with different crayons and then they tell, or your pencil, you shade in certain areas to get a picture that magically appears at the end? Usually if you just kind of figure out edges need to match edges, it's a kind of a shortcut to figuring out that stuff. Okay, here's a last piece. Oop, that's not one that I stamped. So it's a slightly different color. We better do one that I stamped. And we'll do this. Okay. This one is gonna be 1 looks like 3/8. 1 3/8 by 2 5/8. So 2 5/8. By 1 3/8. I'm gonna do it a little bigger because I don't trust myself. And then I can trim it if I need to, because that seems kind of short. Aha, glad I didn't do it what I thought. I did it more like 1 1/2. And then just round your corners or your edges like that. Actually, we're going to go like that. All right. I kind of like Z-folds because once you've gotten your Z-fold done, the rest of it is just all decorating, and you can just kind of have fun with it. So what I'm going to do to have fun with it is I am going to use my coral pieces that I cut out from that Seascape stamp set. And I'm just going to stick those on it. Now, I had planned, remember, to use this, and then I had stamped my old olive on there. But since that plan ended up getting altered, I don't have little stamped coral backgrounds like I thought I was going to have, but oh well. Still fine. Okay, what did the frog order for lunch? We have a lot of frogs down at the park. It's really fun to watch them, and there's some pretty good sized bullfrogs apparently, because when Jeff and I first came here and went down there in the summer when they were loud, we didn't really recognize their croak because they're so different than anything we'd ever heard. In Washington State, our bullfrogs apparently did not sound like that. So that was pretty entertaining. Okay, I want to tuck that in and stick it right there. So it's kind of up, down there. If it's in the way and you don't want it to be in the way, you just clip it. There, now it's staying down there nice. Let's grab another one of those. We'll stick you here. It's getting pretty warm in my room when my door is shut and I have my air conditioning on, yes, but this room heats up. It's got the biggest windows for the size of the room. These windows are huge, and it really heats up this room. My one little air-conditioned vent just doesn't quite do it. I could put the fan on, I guess, up ahead, up on top. That might help me. So what did the frog order for lunch? Oh, I did this last week. I didn't mark this one off. A burger and a diet croak. How come a diet one? I don't know. Kind of cute. Okay, there we go. And then you've got your little tag. I took the same, only unembossed, you know. I took this one that I hadn't embossed and used it. So I could use this. It'll be fine. I'll just use that. Because the other ones, I've got those all embossed now, so I don't want to mess that up. And I've got an abundance now of Get Well cards from all these little fish ones I've been doing. They're fun. Oh, there you are, right here. I think we want to use Navy. I think I better use Night of Navy for this. So sending well wishes right there. And do our Love Never Fails again. I've been using it a lot. I told you I was. It's a good one. Love Never Fails. Okay, there we go. And then the little die I used for this is also kind of a watery effect. So that was the second time now. I'm going to have to move that. My little white pad is in a bad spot, apparently. It is called Beautiful Die. No, what's it called? It's called Beautiful Shapes. That's what it is. So it has this, is this an octagon? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, no, that's 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexagon, that's what it is. They're those. I haven't even used those yet. These have little lines that go around and around and cut it out in kind of an interesting shape. It goes with, there's a Beautiful Shapes die or stamp set. I didn't even buy the stamps because I really just wanted these dies. So you can see what they look like. piece of paper's barely not big enough. I'm gonna need to stamp it again. Let me just cut it this way and then I'll stamp it. Don't you love that? See those lines? It looks like a watery effect. I could use this. No, it's not. This is one of the fish, and I'm saving that because I wanted to do a card with that one too. And haven't actually completed that one yet. I'm still thinking about it, what to do with that one. But that would look good on here too. But anyhow, so there's a circle one that does that, and this one does it, and that one, which is kind of cool. All right. So we get out our stamps, stamp it again. Sending well wishes. I think I'll use my Misty Moonlight this time. Okay, what is the witch? No, I did these. I think I finished all of our jokes. I'll have to find new ones because I remember the last one. Why did the teddy bear not want any dessert? Because that was one that, there you go. Jewel got those and I didn't even see her comments until later. She's pretty good with those jokes. Okay, so where's the card? There it is. So we want this to go right on here. You can stick it on there however you want. It looks pretty good no matter what you do. I'm going to leave it for now because I want to put our fish on. Now, I do want to show you, I'm only going to do a couple of these fish. The punch cuts out this fish and this fish, I believe. No, it's this fish. Yeah, this one. It probably would do pretty deep. Almost this one. Not quite though, but almost. But it definitely does this one. So let's do, where's Calypso Coral? There we go. Okay, let's do Calypso Coral. One. Okay. And I've got so much stuff on my desk now, I can't even see what I'm doing. All right, so that one, we're not really done with it though. Let's see, what other fish do we want? We want a Night of Navy one, or let's do Misty Moonlight, because that would be cool. Not quite as dark. Aren't these cute? They're really nice. They just stamp really nicely. And let's do one more. How about So Saffron? Let's try So Saffron. Cute. And then the little one, the little guy. We'll do a couple of those. Where's another scrap of white? Do another yellow. Oh, that one's not. I don't think I like that impression so much. Let's see how the Calypso Coral turns out. That's better. Okay, and then we'll punch those out. We'll get those on, and we will be done with those. Because I don't think I'm going to get to my last one. This is just heading into the way too long zone. So let's go ahead and get these guys punched out first. Where did the big ones go? There you are. Okay, so let me cut this like this so I can get its tail going the right direction. And it does punch out little fins, but I haven't even used them. I don't really think you need the fins much. They do, the fins like fly out all over. That's what's flying up, is the fins. They go flying way up. Okay, so there's those and these little guys. And do this. Oops, that one, I gotta cut off a corner here. Can't get to you. Okay. Now I did put some wobbles. We have got, we don't have wobbles in our catalog, but Amazon carries wobbles. So I got accidentally these big ones. You want to make sure you're getting these little teeny tiny ones. So there's one, and there's one. I'm going to just use two. And I'm going to put one right here. So what did I just do? There they are. Okay, so little wobbles. So the hard base is this part that has the hole in the middle of it. So that's going to be the base. So if I can get it unpeeled, we will stick on our little wobbly fish. Oh, it's so cute. Where do I want you? I think we're gonna put you like right here. Then you can unpeel the backing on top once you get it where you want it. All right. And then you need the fatter part of the fish to cover it. Okay, so isn't he cute? And then I think I want one here. So we'll stick one right there. Jeff and I, when we come back from our vacation, we'll tell you all about how it was at Mount Rushmore, because we are planning to go to Mount Rushmore, which I don't think Jeff's been there. Maybe when he was a little kid. But I know I've never been there. I don't think we ever went there even when I was little. That'll be really exciting. And if you've been to Waldrug, that's another place Jeff wants to show me. Waldrug. He says it's you're gonna be amazed. You won't believe how many cool things there are in a drugstore. Okay, so I want this little guy here. We're gonna just put some glue on him because I want it to go underneath the little seaweed. There. I'm going to leave this space to write on if I want to. And this is going to go here. Let's put dimensionals on that. Oops, I've got a piece of something there. Piece of ribbon. And I've got stuff all over my desk here. Let's tuck it partially behind our seaweed, and then you can just add in your fish however you want. You can have one peeking out up here. You can I'm going to put one down here. Okay, and I think I'm going to need to put mini dimensionals on that because that's going to have to go like right there. Just a couple. I actually want that behind the seaweed. Right there. And we have one more. Where do we want to put him? I don't know that I have room to put another one. I don't want it there, so I don't think I'm using that one. So that is that. So this is the last card that I did not get to using our fancy frames. I thought that looked pretty good, and just used Bermuda Bay and that Cascading Waves die on Misty Moonlight. And then that background is the same background that I had done here with that. But any background behind that frame looks really nice. The little frames are cute. You can just do all kinds of things with that. And then one last one was where I just took a regular circle die. I think actually I used the Beautiful Shapes die just to make an indentation. You can also do like a porthole and have the porthole, have them looking. In fact, I've got a piece saved to do that with. So you could do a card with a, you know, where the seaweed is, and then, or the seaside. Here, let me use this one. And you could put a porthole there, put your little embellishment pearls on it, and it looks like a little porthole out of a ship. But anyway, that's all the things. There's so many ways you can use the little A Fish and a Wish. It's a cute stamp set. You're gonna really like it. Oops, that's upside down. All right, so thank you so much for watching and for sharing. Thank you for shopping with me. I hope that you are having a wonderful day, and I will see, even if I go on vacation, I think I've got enough videos to put on that I will be here anyway, even though I might not be live. I'll be here anyway. So I will see you again next week. And whether I'm in person or just here, here at the Crow Cottage. And I think that's it. We've got almost the end of July, and you've got one more month to celebration away. Get all your free stuff. Join our team. We have a lot of fun things, and in my newsletters, you have about, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 4 months more of newsletters with free tutorials in it, and then I am going to have to make those tutorials a little harder to come by. It's getting to be quite a job to have that many in every single week. So I am going to back off on that. If you wish to get tutorials though, all you have to do is join our team, and you will still have access to all of that. So have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Bye.